welcome to Crafty Creations by Annis and our October Kiwi Club collaboration. I am excited to do something different today. I am not going to be doing a layout. I'm going to be doing a different project with my paper kit. So I'm excited to do that. Today is definitely a scrapbook therapy day for me. I should probably be doing 1,000 other things, but as you all know, many of you know, when we really need to escape all the stresses of life, scrapbooking really is a way to do it. So I decided I really do need to kind of refocus my mind, and I'm going to jump on here and do this project and film it, and I'm looking forward to it, and just to immerse my mind in something fun. So I'm looking forward to it. So as you all know, as always, make sure you comment on all the videos, not just mine. Comment anything about it. You like the colors, constructive criticism is allowed, anything you want. Just comment on each video in the hop, and each one gets you an entry in to win a prize. So you will get to pick any Kiwi Lane template as your choice as the prize. So that's pretty cool. So I am going to actually be creating a mini album, which again, everything happens for a reason. When I saw this paper pack and I was looking through it, nothing came to mind. And often when I'm looking at paper, I do get inspired, I'll be drawn to a certain thing, and I do kind of know what I want to do with it. And this paper, I love the vibrant colors, I loved it, but it wasn't coming to mind any specific pictures I had, any layout I wanted to do. Nothing was coming to mind. So apparently it was for this reason that I wanted to do a mini album. So that's why. So here's my semi-completed project. I mean, I have so much paper and stuff left, and I still have my packaging, so I could totally use this title. I could use these strips along here to decorate. I have so much paper left, but for what I'm going to do with it right now, I hope you enjoy it. And if you're interested, if you would like to do this as a class, let me know, and I will plan to do this with you. We could definitely do this as a class. If this is something, if I get enough interest, if I get enough comments that you want to do this as a class, I would definitely be interested in doing that for you. So let me know in your comments on this video if you'd like to do this project as a class. All right, so this is my little album. So I did just put the journaling cards right inside the pockets. I did cut some of the extra paper just to put in the pockets. Again, this one I don't have a particular technique on this pocket. This one, I'm just showing you how you can actually use the flap. You can glue it down, or you can actually use it for, you can put additional embellishments down here. You can put pictures here. So you can use that space. Here I actually have the tree separated so that you can still put things in your pocket. And then this journaling card is actually coming this way, so you can still again use the space. And then here I actually have a separate pull-out piece of the little waterfall album where I actually used a lot of the little journaling cards and such in here. And then back here I just have a little title card to put a picture on the back, which matches this paper right here. So I only did, of course my seam, I have to glue this back down because it moved right when after I stuck it, it moved. So I had to kind of pull it off before it was stuck totally. All right, there we go. You don't really want to stick your seam on until you're done. All right, so that is it. So I mean, There's so many other little techniques and tricks you could do, and especially considering I wasn't adding extra templates. And you can still do more trees, you can have more leaves, but I just wanted to do it pretty quick so I could just show you an idea. But again, if you were interested in doing this and learning how as a class and learning some more tips and tricks as to what to do with these mini albums, just let me know. And I will be happy to do that. Enjoy. I think it was. So I am going to take out, actually I did separate them, I think I have them all separated, my base pages. And I'm only going to use what comes in the kit. I just got back from an event, so all my templates, everything are in the car. So I am just going to use what I have right here and just go with that. So what I am going to do is, first of all, I want to score my, so I took out my base pages and I also took out this color one. I'm going to put this in the middle to split up the colors. It should give me plenty. I could even start with just these, but I think I'm going to do the 5 pages. All right. So what I want to do is score the paper. Just trying to think if this one matters, which direction, but it doesn't really matter. Right. I'm going to score it at 4 inches. As well as 1 inch. Oops, I guess that's gonna right. And then I'm going to turn it and I'm going to score it right at 6. Okay, I'm actually going to flip it and score it both sides at 6. Just makes it a little easier. All right. Okay, and then what that's going to do for me is it's going to give me a little album page with a pocket. And I could have left, I could have made it bigger, but I didn't want it, I wanted that size. So I thought rather than cutting it off, I'm going to use that little flap for that extra splash of color. Then when I actually go to put something in the pocket, you really get that pop of color. All right, so I'm going to do that on my base pages, but I'm going to do one in the brown, then one in the green. So because the back side of this is a brown, so I'm going to do this one green. So again, I'm going to come at 4 inches, 1 inch for that flap. Then I'm going to turn it and do 6 and flip it over and do 6 again, and then fold it up and then that's that one. Okay, it's time to speed it up, so I'm just going to go through and finish scoring the rest of my pages. Again, it's just at that 1 inch for the flap, 4 inch and 6 inch. And I'm just going to do that for all 5 pages. Now, I didn't glue them until I decorated the front page. And I definitely recommend you don't bind it or just put a decorative spine on until you're completely done. So you have an idea of how thick you want it to be. So I'm just playing around getting them in the order that I like the colors best. Originally I had the light ones at the front, ended up putting them at the back, just playing around, getting them how I like them. I did print out the idea book just to kind of look through and see if there was any ideas I wanted to use within the album. And then everything I used to create the album came in that package. I think I did mention I had just come from an event and everything's in the car. So I figured I'm just going to use what I have right here. So I'm creating the front cover just using some of the really pretty full color papers. So I do use all 3 of the trees and all 3 of the trunks, and I create the trees for the front cover. I use the like a beige color for the tree trunk, but you'll notice in the printout they have used some of the color paper for the trunk, and it really looks adorable. But I really want that contrast with the dark brown and the color of the beautiful trees. I wanted to keep my tree trunks pretty muted. Also, I have a bright, vibrant title, so I wanted to just kind of keep the trunks less of a focal point. So I'm just cutting these out, and then I'm going to add, kind of place them around, kind of see how I want them, making everything fit. Those titles work great with the trees, so then I wasn't sure if I wanted to cut it out as a tree, but I ended up keeping it. But then I realized I wanted it, I was kind of wanted to mat it, but then it would be too big. So I used the scissors to distress the edge, and then I still kind of thought it was a little too big. So I used itself to mat it. So all I did was I actually scored 1/4 of an inch all the way around, folded that in. Then I did cut off the very just edges of the corners so I could fold it. And then I distressed it again. So there you go. I'm taking 1/4 inch and then folding it. And then I distressed it again and inked it again. So it's actually matting with its own double-sided paper. I did glue it down just because I didn't want it to be too big catching on everything. So I did, once I took those corners off, I did actually glue it down. Not completely flat. I did want some texture to it and some depth, but I just didn't want it all raised up. So I did use some glue and kind of let some stay up, but pushed most of it down. And then stuck everything else down. I put the tree, the very back tree, completely stuck down. The second tree, the second big tree, I actually popped out some of the branches, but not all, just to give it a little bit of texture. And then the one on the front, I did pop dot so that it would kind of sit on top of the title and on top of the other trees. I did also distress edge the oval large tree at the back, just to kind of bring in that distressing texture in another place on the page, just to balance it out. These papers really are pretty, such vibrant colors. I love how the tree paper kind of pulled in with everything. And then I actually did end up cutting out a couple little trees from this paper I just used right there and put them on the bottom of the title card. Or actually, I followed that you can't really see it too well, but there's little trees on that title card that are really similar to those in that picture. So I just fussy cut them and actually added them with a little pop dot just to add, again, some depth and some extra detail to that front cover. But you'll see there, I just added pop dots on every other branch, and then the rest I stuck flat. So it would kind of look like the tree branches going in and out. And then that little tree, I pop dotted, and then I have it kind of sitting on top of everything. And the little tree I cut out, this little teeny tiny one, fussy cut it, and then I just inked it up a little bit and then stuck it right next to my title. And it really did, I like how I added just that little bit of depth. So I did tape down just the edges to make the pocket on each page, but just the inside edge, and then I did glue each segment together. So I just put a whole bunch of glue, and then I sat them down on the table together, and then made sure they were like married up perfectly, and then pushed them together. But I just made sure that they were next to each other on the table, and then the right height, and then they all met up perfectly. Scoring definitely makes you do a better job of making sure that they're exact same size. So now I'm just going to create the spine for it. So the spine was 8 inches by 2 inches. I scored it at 3/4, and that gave me a 1/2 inch center spine. Obviously, if you want to do a different amount of pages, I just looked how wide it was, and that's how thick I made my center spine. Now I should have waited and glued this on afterwards, because it was actually, I was continuing to work and it wasn't dry, so it actually immediately slid. So yeah, I do recommend you wait and put that spine on later on. And now I'm just playing around creating these larger mats. I wanted to use them to make some flips, because they're really, really easy to do that. So I was just playing around. I did create one, but there are a couple more left in that kit to create some more in the album. Like I say, I had so much paper left. You can do so much more. I just kind of wanted to leave it up to your imagination. But you could have them going from the center like that, how I just showed you. I actually decided to go from the side, but you could definitely go from the center. And then I'm just literally just kind of going through the papers, figuring out. I added a tree on the inside of this left-hand page. And then I put the branch on top of the front. So I did cut it a little bit shorter than they are, so that it wouldn't hang over too much, figuring if I was putting pictures in and out, they might get, you know, kind of caught up on the branches and be a little annoying. So I cut it a little bit shorter, but I have not, I glued it to the pocket. I did not glue the actual branches to anything. They are just floating, so you can put things in and out of the pocket. And then I cut off the little title out of a journal card and just put that right at the front there. And then on this next page, I knew I wanted to make another little flap, but I was trying to find which journal card to do it. So this flap, you can glue them down, or you can leave them and add your journal cards. So the flap, if you open it, is 3 inches. So I cut that journal card down to 3 inches and then adhered it on top of the flap. And then you just open it up and you can add your pictures underneath. You can do, you know, gives you all that space underneath. And I use that little piece I cut off, just as it's the exact same color inside. I used it as a little strip along the top. So I have a few more little titles. I ended up kind of doing each pocket as a little theme. The first one was like all the hometown growing country farm. The second one was like the pumpkin picking, and I kind of ended up theming it like that. But I just put some paper in some of the pockets, and actually on this one I ended up making a little waterfall page. I just took some of the 3x4 journal cards, and then I created some more with paper and just made a little waterfall photo page. And I put it right on a separate paper, so you can put it in and out of any pocket rather than attaching it to the album. And there's so many little cute title cards in here. A good, easy way to use some of them up. And it kind of worked well. One of the cards was a full bucket list, so it kind of worked well with having all the little cards, because you could kind of put your full bucket list pictures all together. I didn't score this. I just eyeballed it and folded it, and you'll see when I kind of show you, actually probably in the beginning of the video, definitely should score it. Definitely a neater look. So I'm just putting the pieces in the pocket just to fill it in to show you. That's really all I did to it. I'm just showing you can use the packaging. There's lots of the packaging I didn't use. You could use the title on the packaging. You could use the strips on the back to decorate. There's a lot in there. I did make a little title card here using the trees to match the title, match the little title card, and you could put a picture on the back of that. And then I think that's the last one I do. But there's so much you could do. I had so much paper left. You could do so many different things, pockets and flips, and you could just go to town with it. Lots of paper to create lots of fun stuff. But again, if this is something you'd like to do a class on, I'd be happy to teach it. I love to teach things like this where you can do lots of fun techniques. I love this vibrant orange. I was going to do the other side with the decorative, but I liked how the orange matched the orange in the little journal card. It says happy fall, y'all. So I hope you enjoyed this album, and I can't wait to hear what you think of it. Happy fall, y'all.